stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part one of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Agador, that's Aggedor, on Mublet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. I hope, indeed I pray, that we shall not be found unworthy of our victory if after toil and tribulation it is granted to us. For the rest, we have to gain the victory. That is our task. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duty, and so bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its commonwealths last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour.
We shall not fail or falter, we shall not weaken or tire. Neither the sudden shock of battle nor the long-drawn trials of vigilance and exertion will wear us down. Give us the tools, and we will finish the job.
We shall go on to the end. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
You have tried to change my country. You've tried to change my life. No one ever asked me if I thought that this was right. It's time for us to tell you that we will go through hell to defend our country and to help the EDL. I'm proud to be an Englishman and I'm going to be free. I won't forget the men who died to get that right to me, and we will stand up against you and defend England every day. There's no doubt we love this land. God save England and the UK. Lied to all the people and tried to take away their rights, but we won't let you sell this land, not without a fight. It's time for us to tell you that you can go to hell. It's time for us to stand and fight and join the EDL. I'm proud to be an Englishman and I'm going to be free. I won't forget the men who died to give that right to me, and we will stand up against you and defend England every day. There's no doubt we love this land. God save England and the UK. And I'm going to be free. I won't forget the men who died to give that right to me, and we will stand up against you and defend England every day. There's no doubt we love this land. God
most certainly do love this land. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the English Defence League radio show, broadcasting live on blogtalkradio.com. The English Defence League radio show, the truth and the voice of the EDL. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the title of the show is English Defence League radio show 2020, second stage. Welcome to the English Defence League radio show with your host, Jeff Spider Mitchell, and my wingman this evening is Dave Agador Milner. Tonight we'll be discussing the headlines of the week as we continue to clear out the rubbish from 2019. The death cult of Islam and its cowardly allies have started 2020 with a bang. But freedom fighters across the planet are ready to answer their bang with a bomb. Make no mistake, this is the year for patriots, and they will stand forth to share the truth and vanquish the satanic tide. No surrender ever. All that is necessary for evil to prevail is that good men do nothing. And that was by the late great Edmund Burke. And those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. And of course, that was by the late great President John F. Kennedy. God bless him. And with that, let me bring in my colleague, my wingman, my dear friend, Dave, all the way from the USA. That was good, that. All the way from the USA, Dave. I'm a poet, I didn't know it. Go on, Dave, back to you.
Good evening, Jeff. Good evening to everybody
Good
in
evening,
the UK.
my dear friend.
And a good afternoon to everybody in the States, and hello to everyone around the world, and of course, off Earth. Yes, we've got a big show. But also, we have a show note. For those of you who are interested in the Iran situation, which we will be talking about a bit later, by the way, we have secured a guest in Carmel Melamed, who is an independent journalist and who has written for the Jerusalem Post and for other news publications and things of that nature, and has been interviewed a little bit here recently for obvious reasons. This is a man with a great deal of experience with how things are going on the ground in Iran, a great deal of background. You're going to want to tune in or log in on Thursday, all right? And we're going to have him on our show, yeah. And he's going to do a little bit of talking about...
It was great. The last time around, we gained so much information from this great gentleman, didn't we, Dave? It was a wonderful... It wasn't so much... It was a slight interview, getting to know exactly the facts on the ground and that, and what's going on in Iran at this moment in time. So, we've heard lots of things that's been going this week. There's been lots of things that's been going on. I mean, now the Iranians have put their hands up, said that was them that shot down that Ukraine 737. Was it a 735 or 737, Dave? 737? All people, 156 people on board died. But this is the first time that they've actually put their hands up. They lie. But the evidence was so overwhelming from different sources, not just from yourselves, Dave, but ourselves, the United Kingdom. We've got our satellites up there and everything, haven't we? And other sources. They couldn't. There's no way out from it. They had to come be truthful about it, and and take the full blame for it. I don't know why. I mean, why would you let planes fly in a war zone anyway? What was the thinking behind these people to let the plane fly anyway, Dave? Let's be honest, mate. But yeah, it'd be great for that great gentleman to be back. We said a little while ago it'd be nice to have you back. And with what's been going on, my goodness, is it the right gentleman to join us, Dave, next week, eh?
Absolutely, Jeff. Yeah, he is absolutely the correct guest for us to have, and as he has indicated, and I'm sure that this is the case, people are not getting the straight story about what's going on in Iran from the fake stream media. And again, are we surprised? Just like last year, when they said that the protests against the demonstrations, rather, I should say, against the Iranian regime, the mullahs and people like that, but were about gas prices. Carmel came in and set people straight about that. It was a really great show.
Yeah.
In fact, it was the last archive show that we put in, the last encore show that we put in while we were on holiday. So you guys could hear it again.
Yeah.
It was very well received when it was live. So guys, do tune in on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. of course in the UK, and at 3:30 p.m. Eastern in the United States. And we'll wind everybody up and get them ready, and bring Carmel on. He'll be calling in from his place, and we'll do some you'll get some real talk on Iran, stuff that you won't get many other places, because this guy knows where it's at.
Are we getting
Jeff,
a feel, Dave? I'm getting a feel that we're seeing the beginning of the end of that Iranian regime. Are you getting that feeling, Dave? I'm getting that feeling. I'm just starting to feel something there. It's the bloodshed that's been spilled, and I think it's their time is coming to an end. These mad mullahs. I really do believe it now, Dave. So much pressure on them now, and to see them blink during that confrontation with the United States, that was seeing them blink. And I didn't think I'd see that, but we saw them blink, Dave, when they basically they could have hit anything they wanted to, but it seemed that there was no one hurt during the strikes, and there was about 12 missiles, wasn't it, Dave? 12 missiles, but no one was hurt. And your president then decided that it's quite obvious that they blinked, and basically, there was no more confrontation between the United States. In fact, the Iranians have stood down. That's the way it come across. And actually, it's said like that with the first communique from them, saying we've done now what we had to do, and that's it. Basically, So and I thought, thank goodness, because you could see something like that at tit for tat, couldn't you, Dave? Before you know it, there's a few more things going on, and then you get it just getting worse. And this is how a war develops, isn't it? But we did see level heads there, and some serious thinking that they didn't want to mess with your president, because he was about annihilation. Look, you kill any Americans, that's it. You step over that red line, I'm not your Obama. You stand a bit further over red line. No, this is it. So I really look forward to listening to Carmel back discussing what's been going on, because it's been a little while, and it's been so much, and I'm sure he can fill us in a lot more details, Dave?
Yeah, Jeff, that's true. And I guess since we're into that now, we might as well go ahead with that as our first story. The UK listeners, there will be a UK story that you do need to hear, and others a bit later. But for right now, since we seem to be into this, we're going to go ahead with it. I've got one here from the AP, and this one here is by Nasser Karimi and Joseph Kraus. Okay, this is from the 10th, guys, a couple of days ago. And as Jeff said, under pressure, Iran admits it shot down jetliner, as they say, by mistake. and there's a point to this, because I know you guys have heard all of this before in some of the other news shows and things of that nature. But this is fairly new stuff that hasn't been commented on by a lot of people who normally air their stuff during the week. I'm just going to read a bit of this. In the face of mounting evidence, Iran on Saturday acknowledged that it shot down the Ukrainian jetliner, quote-unquote, by accident, killing all 176 people aboard. The mission.
76. Sorry, Dave. I got my figures wrong. It was 176. My apologies, brother.
Right. To continue, the admission by Iran's Revolutionary Guard undermined the credibility of information provided by senior officials who, for 3 days, had adamantly dismissed allegations of a missile strike as Western propaganda. Okay, this is how they do, guys. They like all Mohammedans, when something comes up that they need to own up to and it's not pleasant, they just lie about it. And of course, we still have some of our people. Yeah, we still have some of our people here in the West that are trying to support that, which is kind of pathetic. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of skip through this article. It also raised a host of new questions, such as why, and Jeff, you brought this up, Iran did not shut down its international airport or airspace on Wednesday when it was bracing for the U.S. to retaliate for a ballistic missile attack on 2 military bases housing U.S. troops in Iraq. No one was hurt in that attack, carried out in retaliation for the killing of Iranian General Qais Salami. I'm not going to bother saying the guy's name, right? He was a terrorist. In an American airstrike in Baghdad. All right? Now, skip down here a little bit. Basically, what they're saying here, guys, is what Iran is saying, is that this was a reaction from people in the military because they felt like they were being bullied by the United States. That's basically what they said. They've also said that they're going to hold an investigation and they're going to punish the people responsible. They may well have a show trial and some poor schmuck may well get his head cut off. All right, but it really doesn't and shouldn't deflect anyone from understanding who and what this regime is. All right, it is a terrorist breeder reactor in a way. All right, it's a group of terrorists. That's how they started out in 1979. A group of terrorists who are breeding more terrorists and funding terrorists. That's what they do, and they do this all over the planet. Now, every continent except perhaps for Antarctica has terrorist elements on it that are being funded, if not funded and trained by Iran. So their excuse for shooting down a jetliner filled with 176 innocent people, one of them an American student, by the way, is that they were nervous because they thought that the United States were bullies. And that made one of their military people overreact with their air defense net. Okay, now, Jeff, here's my big question about this. Okay, we know that Iran has been pursuing a nuclear weapon for a long time, years, decades, actually. So here's my question, and this is for everybody who thinks that they should have a nuclear weapon. Okay, if they can't even be trusted to properly use an air defense system, why in the hell does anybody think that they can be trusted to operate or to even house or have nuclear weapons? Got an answer for that one, Jeff?
Very. very, well, very dangerous. Very dangerous, isn't it? You know, it's like giving a child a box of matches and he's in a room full of paper. You know what I mean? That is the similar sort of thing there. There's no way, and I think that's what your president says. He comes out, and I see the serious look on his face, and he said, there's one thing that will never happen is Iran will never, on my, you know, all the time I'm the president, they'll never have a nuclear weapon. And that was the first thing. It was an underlying thing. And you think, he means it. He means it. If anything, yes, they will take out their nuclear, whatever, all the things around there. So, yeah, he means it. He had the full weight of the military there who was standing beside him because this was solemn, and at the same time, also, relaying back to the world that there is peace in our times, but, you know, there's certain things that this other people must align to. No nuclear weapons, for a start. And then we'll have a chat about future. You know what I mean? That is it. That's what normal countries do. And that's what he said, this is what normal countries do. And I think he put that, he done it very elegant. I've got to admit the way he actually expressed himself about the whole thing. He didn't take no questions. He said what he had to say, made that main statement, which was very solemn, and he turned around and walked out. You know, I liked about that whole thing. As the doors opened, Dave, it was like a beacon of light shining through. Did you see that, Dave? Was you the same? It was like a beacon of light, and in walked your president. And on the way out, the same thing, that beacon of light, and your president walked out the doors, and the doors closed behind him. And that was, I'll never forget that, Dave. But anyway, very interesting times we live, mate. Very interesting.
Well, the question, you know, I didn't see any light, Jeff, but the question that I also have here is why is Iran allowed to have any nuclear capability at all? Right now they've got, reportedly, enough centrifuges to produce nuclear fuel for reactors, for reactors to produce electricity. They don't need that. They're sitting on top of all sorts of oil. Okay, they can have oil-fired electric plants and serve their needs for who knows how many years in the future. This is not something that they need to have. This country does not need to have anything that can produce nuclear fuel, because it's just too much of a temptation for them to set up more centrifuges so they can cook that stuff down enough to where it becomes weapons grade. And at that point, again, you're talking about Mohammedans with violent tendencies anyway towards anybody that's not a Mohammedan, and even towards anybody that's not their flavor of Mohammedan. Remember the Iran-Iraq war? Yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely see some future mullah ginning up the people. Well, ginning up his own regime, not necessarily the people. We know the people just about had enough, but ginning up his own regime and saying, yes, we will finally defeat Iraq, and attacking them with nuclear weapons. I mean, I could actually see that. So my thing about this is,
well, it's
that
always
a country
the
like,
thing is, Dave, it's always been death to America and death to Israel. I mean, even when the money was handed over from Obama, it was still death to America, death to Israel. They can't be afforded to have anything nuclear. It's too dangerous. They're a rogue nation, and they should be treated just the same as we treat North Korea and any of the rogue states. Am I right, Dave?
Yeah, well, as I was trying to say here. Okay, yeah. Well, as I was trying to say here, all right, my thing is that, as you pointed out, Jeff, they're a rogue nation. They do not have responsible leadership right now, and they that kind of technology needs to be kept away from them. All right. Now, if they straighten themselves out, as you said, if they stop allowing Islam to guide how they rule their people, and if they stop becoming a terrorist enabling state sometime in the future, and that continues for a certain number of decades, not a certain number of years, okay, then yes, there might be time for a conversation at that point about possibly allowing them nuclear power. But in this world,
I think it's going to be a total different time. This is a time for them to be allowed to have anything like that, because you cannot take them for their word. They lie. They tried to lie about that plane coming down for 3 days until the evidence was overwhelming that they had to actually put their hands up to it. You know, so trust them as far as you can throw them, guys. Like we've always said, trust them with contempt. The Persian people, the Persian people themselves, the Iranians, are lovely people. It's just these crazy mad mullahs with this Islamic ideology that's creating havoc throughout the world. And we've seen what they've done across the Middle East, haven't we, Dave?
And that is it for this time. Next time, part 2. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye. The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2020. Anno Domini. Now for Dave's Canes. Extras that help you navigate the new media world.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
This is Shannon Wright of The Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Mike's not here, so I gotta talk fast. You gotta join us. Fall season. Getting ready to start up with a whole bunch of new stuff. News and food and politics and sports and entertainment and a whole bunch of stuff. But wait, Mike's coming. I gotta go. Remember, Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making of this ad.
Join me, Jack Alexander, for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the issues affecting the USA. I fearlessly take on the issues that everyone else is too scared to touch. The Jack Alexander Experiment podcast is available wherever good podcasts can be found, like Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. The Jack Alexander Experiment, because it's not a matter of left versus right, it's a matter of right versus wrong.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Featuring the effervescent contrarian Sackheads Clint, plus the unrestrained bulbosity of BZ, the Sackheads Against Tyranny is a real chat show. Doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts, you can listen every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Please note, some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, warranty void in Montenegro.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.